This week in Battlefield, we're finally not relying on leaks, as there's actually been some official word from DICE themselves in a little dev update that they posted midweek. We also had a little bit of transparency on the potential release date of the next Battlefield game, as well as when the game is going to be officially revealed to the world in the next couple of months. So there's plenty of exciting news to dive into in today's episode. If you guys are new to the channel and you're interested in a weekly recap for all the Battlefield news that you need to know, just like this one, be sure to hit that subscribe button, as there is plenty more content on the way. But with that being said, let's get stuck into another episode of This Week in Battlefield. Now, first and foremost, like I said, we do finally have some official word from DICE themselves. It's been probably a month or more since we actually got their last little dev update, but they did give us another one just a few days ago now, and I'm going to actually read through the entire thing for you guys, as there is a lot of good info in here, most of which is pretty much just to do with the fact that they are going to begin to expand Battlefield Labs. The post was titled Battlefield Labs Development Update May 2025, and it says, in February, we announced Battlefield Labs as our most ambitious community collaboration in franchise history to validate the future of Battlefield. Today, we'll update you on our initial learnings and how we'll continue to scale testing into the future. Across our 4 initial play sessions with a small group of core Battlefield players across Europe and North America, we've completed thousands of hours of gameplay, had hundreds of thousands of players spawns, and seen over 1 million environmental objects destroyed, including walls, windows, crates, and buildings your squad crashed the helicopter into. The players in these sessions have helped us successfully validate the following areas: establishing a solid foundation for smooth, low latency, and high performance gunplay, finding the right balance in movement speed for functionality such as crouch sprint, combat rolling, and vaulting as part of our combat pacing initiatives, as well as using destruction to create fun and lasting tactical gameplay across rounds and experiences. Exploring new ideas for the future and receiving direct player feedback continues to be a crucial aspect of the Battlefield Labs process. Even if some ideas never reach release, it helps us understand and refine elements that resonate most with players as we continue to build Battlefield together. It's been a valuable and exciting experience for our team and community so far, and we're looking forward to continuing that collaboration alongside you. They then go on about what is next, and they say, now that we've wrapped up initial server performance and stability concerns, we've validated a solid foundation for a core Battlefield experience. We're now ready to continue scaling Battlefield Labs testing globally. Throughout May, we'll be inviting more players across Europe and North America, and we'll start to include select areas of Asia. Alongside testing new content, we'll continue to iterate on our initial focus areas, such as balancing the different weapon archetypes and damage values, as well as movement and combat pacing mechanics. Destruction also remains an ongoing topic across our play sessions. We'll continue to test destructible objects across a variety of maps and fine-tune damage levels of surfaces. Following community updates on gunplay and destruction, we'll be back in the future to talk more about classes and the all-out warfare experience. Lastly, they say get involved. If you're excited to help us validate the future of Battlefield, then you can still sign up now. Read our FAQ if you'd like to learn more, and be sure to join the discussion on our Battlefield Discord. Battlefield Labs continues to show us what's possible when our community comes together alongside us to collaborate, and we thank everyone who has joined us on this journey so far. We're looking forward to what's next with you, the Battlefield team. So obviously there is a lot to sort of break down there, but to essentially just quickly summarize that, everything seems to be going to plan. They have found some areas in which they are pretty much happy with how the game's going, and obviously they still need to continue developing it, but they seem to be fairly happy with the server stability and stuff like that. And now they are obviously just trying to begin expanding that, and obviously they'll break into some new areas of stuff that they're going to try and test out to get ready for launch. So overall, seems like a very positive post to me. It seems as though everything's just going along nice and smooth, and the fact they are expanding is not only a good thing to get more feedback for them, but for us as players, there's just more of a chance for us to actually get into these Battlefield Labs playtests. So definitely an exciting bit of news overall. Now, they also included an image in the, I guess, like banner or title for this post. And so here, as you can see, we get to see a new official image of a new map that we haven't seen before. Technically, we've seen it in the leaks that I talked about last week, but as far as I know, we haven't actually seen official imagery or anything of this map so far. So this is, I guess, official confirmation of a new map they have now shown off. So we've now seen the Gibraltar map in the initial initial concept art. We've seen the Egypt map in a lot of stuff they shared early, and now this is, I believe, that capstone map that we saw in those recent leaks, and we now get to see that officially, which is good to see. Like it said in their post, if you guys aren't signed up for Battlefield Labs yet, now is definitely the time to try and do that, because they are obviously expanding. So if you're in Europe, North America, or Asia, I don't know what parts of Asia they're talking about there, but if you're in any of those regions, make sure you're signed up, because there is obviously more of a chance now to actually get in. Technically speaking, Australia is kind of part of Asia, and so I'm hoping that they can add Australia to the list, because I would love to get my hands on with the game, but I'd imagine that won't be the case. We are generally kind of the last to get stuff like this because it's a small country. So if you're a fellow Aussie, unfortunately I'm not too confident on our end, but for everyone else, definitely sign up. And even if you're in a country that isn't listed, like I said, in the areas I said, like Europe and North America and stuff, still sign up, because eventually they will just keep expanding it to other regions as well. Now that's it for essentially the official word from DICE themselves, but there's also been some other exciting tidbits that we picked up from EA during EA's Q4 2025 earnings report that happened this week as well. Now, most of this I'm actually just pulling from Battlefield Bulletin, as they do a really good job of rounding all this information up. I used to listen to all of the investors' calls, but they do sometimes put me to sleep. It's mostly just discussions about money, and I just do not care how much money EA makes personally. So shout out to Battlefield Bulletin for sort of listening to the whole thing and breaking it all down. Now, the first thing that I wanted to talk about is that they confirmed in this Q4 report that the next Battlefield game will be revealed at a major event this summer. So that is some really exciting confirmation. Now, obviously, we kind of knew that anyway. We kind of know that the game is most likely to be launching this year. And if it's launching this year, they have to show it soon. It's not going to be just shadow dropped or something like that. They will obviously have a big marketing lead up. And generally speaking, June or July is when they tend to show off their games anyway. So I think most of us kind of assumed this was the case anyway. But the fact that we now have some confirmation that it will be shown at a major event this summer, that is definitely very exciting. Now, my guess would be Summer Games Fest, which is actually happening next month in June. It's actually less than a month away now. I think it starts on maybe the 6th of June. I could be wrong there though, but that would be my guess as for when they're most likely going to show this off. It would also most likely be at the Xbox Game Showcase, which I think technically still comes as part of Summer Games Fest, but it's just not the official sort of showcase. And that is on the 8th of June. And so that's actually where my guess would land if I'm going to guess where they show this off. I think it'll be at the Xbox Game Showcase on the 8th of June. EA and Xbox have a really good relationship, and they do often showcase things at the Xbox Showcase. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that is specifically when we see this on the 8th of June, but really any time in that week there when Summer Games Fest is happening. I would be pretty shocked if we don't see something during that week, because I don't really know what other major events they would showcase this at. Now, Gamescom is, I think that's still technically in summer. That's in August. Keep in mind, summer in Australia is backwards to everyone else, so I can never really keep track of the actual sort of dates of when summer happens in the Northern Hemisphere, but that's the only other place that I could see them revealing this, which is, yeah, late August, I'm pretty sure. I don't think that's the case. Now, I'd imagine they'll still probably show something at Gamescom, but the first reveal for the game coming in August, that feels a little bit late compared to what they normally do. So that is another option. It could be late August. We could still be like 3 months away, but if I had to guess, like I said, I'd be pretty confident we're going to see something in terms of probably the first official trailer at some point next month, or at least hopefully anyway. Now, last but definitely not least, we also got a little bit of information about the potential pricing of the game too, because obviously if you guys have been paying attention to the gaming industry, the Switch 2 was announced last month. They announced that games are going to be essentially just more expensive now. They're going to be $80 instead of $70. And we know that with GTA, albeit that has just been delayed, we know GTA is going to be in the same boat. People are even saying that game could potentially cost $100, which for me personally, I don't care. That game looks phenomenal. GTA never misses, so I don't care how much it costs. But the dangerous precedent that it could set is what people are concerned about, because then if they're going to charge 100, or even if it's just 80 like the Switch 2, well, other games are probably going to hike their prices up as well. Now, we actually got some confirmation, or at least as of right now anyway, confirmation that this isn't going to be happening with Battlefield. Reading this tweet from Battlefield Bulletin, it says, addressing investors during a Q&A portion of EA's latest earnings conference call, CFO Stuart Canfield claimed the publisher currently has no plans to increase the cost of its games, even as the likes of Microsoft and Nintendo jump to $80. According to Andrew Wilson's comments, EA is in a far different world than just 10 years ago. We now have pricing representing everything from free-to-play all the way to deluxe editions and beyond. While it's true that selling physical copies of games in plastic boxes in retail shelves is still a part of our business, it's a significantly smaller part of our business. So we can expect the next Battlefield to stick to the $70 standard edition pricing, at least for the time being. So that is a pretty rare EA win right there. Usually I'd be expecting them to just follow the trends and they would see, okay, the Switch 2, they're selling their games for $80, so we're going to do the same as well, because we all know that EA loves trying to get a bit of money. So I honestly assumed it would probably be at that $80 price point, but it does seem like from what they said anyway, they don't really have plans to do that, at least not now anyway. They definitely will at some point in the future, but I kind of feel like that shift in the industry is going to probably happen once GTA launches. I think for this year we are still safe at that $70 price point. And even when you look at a lot of the front runners at the moment for Game of the Year, Expedition 33, that was a $50 game. Split Fiction, I believe that was about $40 or $50. Elden Ring Night Rain comes out this month, that's about the same price. And so there's actually a lot of games that are almost going the other direction and are actually cheaper. So hopefully that means that Battlefield isn't going to be an $80 game. For me personally, I would actually love to see it as free to play for the multiplayer. I think that would be the best way to get people in the door. But obviously when it comes to the pricing, we are just going to have to wait and see. But that is pretty much it for all of the news that we got this week in Battlefield, guys. I'm keen to hear all of your thoughts on all of this, so be sure to leave a comment down below. But with that being said, thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you all out there on the battlefield.